welcome to the Tech Editor Hub. We are live chatting today with Cherie Crochet and Melissa Bauer, both of whom are Crochet Tech Editors, and we are super excited to have you all here live. If you have any questions, throw them into the chat wherever you're watching from. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Cherie.
How are you, Sarah?
I'm doing great. It's really happy to see you all here. So we can just jump right in. Go ahead and take away, Melissa.
All right. Well, my name is Melissa, and I am the teacher for Learn to Tech Edit Crochet that Sarah so graciously hosts on the Tech Editor Hub. And we have one of our students, our former students here, Cherie from Sweetbird Crochet. So Cherie, please introduce yourself and tell us a little about Sweetbird Crochet.
My name is Cherie Mellick, and I started Sweetbird Crochet because of this little one right here. I love tech editing. I'm a complete pattern nerd, and so this was right up my alley. I'm originally from Hawaii, and so I lived on an island my entire life, and then I moved to Georgia. And so I've been living in the South, and it's hot and muggy here most of the time.
So it doesn't look like Kalani is camera shy. That was going to be my next question. Can you tell us more about her?
Yeah, so I got her when she was 4 months old. She's obsessed with me. She is my companion. Anytime I'm working, she's right on my shoulder or tries to get on the computer. Let me see if I can have her say hi. Say hi. Can you tell everybody hi? No? Say hi. Look, I have a Trisket. Hi. Hi. Nope. She's not going to say hi, but she loves Triscuits. And off she goes. She loves Triscuits, but yeah, I've had her since she was 4 months old. She doesn't talk or anything. She's a violet Indian ringneck, and she is almost 2 now. So she is my feathered toddler, and she runs the roost. Yes. Yep. I love her to pieces. So she's a really good bird. A lot of, it kind of depends on the bird's personality. Some birds are like, hey, leave me alone. I'm good just to sit on the perch, but she's not. She likes to be out and about. And if she could like sleep in the bed with me, she would. That's how
she don't let her do that.
No, definitely not. But she does take a shower with me every day. So she's got a little perch in the shower that she sits on while I wash my hair, and I'll feel her tugging my hair and stuff.
Aww. She's so sweet. She's beautiful color. I love that color.
Thank you. She's violet. They have lots of different mutations of this type of bird. The wild ones are normally like a green color, and then there's like blue and albino white, and then her color is violet. And she actually is just a really large parakeat. So they're in the same family. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Her long tail. I don't know if you can see it. Her long tail.
That is a long tail.
Yes.
Yeah. I think somebody commented in the course, the Learn to Tech Edit Crochet course, that they could hear, we have 2 parakeets. They could hear them chirping in the background. She's pretty quiet. Does she always be quiet?
No.
Okay.
No. If you follow any of my stories, like I used to do a Takeover Tuesday, and she would take over my stories on Instagram, and I would show people like how mischievous she is and how she screams like that. And yeah, if I'm in a different room, she's screaming like that, like incessantly. It's terrible.
Come back to me.
Yeah, she's got to be by me all the time. So
she's sweet. So, and you've named your business after her?
I did. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I did.
So how would you say that your business focus has changed from the beginning up to now?
Well, when I first came into the crochet community, I started as Hooked by Nini. And Nini is what my grandchildren call me. I have 9 grandbabies. I
Oh,
have, yeah, between my husband and I, we have 6 children, and they're all adults out of the house, grown up. And so 4 of mine have produced 8 of those 9 grandbabies. So my granddaughter, who she's kind of like the third in line, she named me. And so I started my business as Hooked by Nini, thinking that I would make, little amigurumis or just some blankets or whatnot. And I realized very quickly that I do not like making things over and over and over. And I don't like doing commission pieces. I don't like making things to sell them. And so I was like, I love crochet. I've been crocheting for, gosh, 15, 17 years now. And so I love to make things, but I don't like to make them, you know, all the time, like especially amigurumi. I'm a little older, and so I have a little bit of arthritis in my hands, so doing the tighter stitches is really like hard on my joints. So I ended up like, okay, I want to get into designing, so I started designing a few things, and then then I realized one day, like, Hooked by Nini just doesn't fit the vision that I had for a business. And so after we had gotten her and some other things, personal things that happened in my life, I was like, let's do this change. So I did a complete rebranding to Sweetbird Crochet, and it really does fit my brand. Like, the colors are all based off of, oh, where is she? There she is, off of her coloring. And, it's just, yeah, everybody loves her. I think people show up on my Instagram for her more than they do for me. Yeah,
That's understandable. I get that.
If I don't show her for a few days, everyone's like, "Where's Kalani?" I'm like, whatever.
We're all bird people, so we understand this completely.
Yeah.
So, do you still design crochet patterns? Oh, there went my earbud.
I do. I do it very slowly. I'm not a designer who can produce a lot of patterns. Because I'm just very slow and methodical, and I've got Triscuits all over me. That's one thing. I'll either have bird poop on me, Triscuits, or feathers. So, yeah, it's like whatever. But I'm very, like, when I crochet, I'm very slow and methodical. And so I'm not one that can produce, patterns very fast. Plus I'm like kind of a perfectionist as well. So when I go to write my patterns, I want them to be absolutely perfect. So I take my time in doing that. I still do design patterns, but because of, because of the work that I do now as a tech editor and a virtual assistant, I can just design patterns as I get inspired. And a lot of my designs, when I first started as Hooked by Nini, I was doing, different designs. Now I'm doing more focused designs on bags and blankets. And all my designs are bird based. And so I actually just released a cowl called the Corvidae cowl, and it's it's all around the raven. And so it's a black cowl, and yeah. And then I also, on my blog, I, write about the inspiration and stuff behind the patterns that I do. And you can read all about that on the Sweetbird Crochet blog.
Sweet. So what is your favorite type of crochet item to make? Do you have you like blankets? Me too.
I love blankets. I don't know what it is about them, but they almost seem like, I don't know, it's like they're just very healing to me, and very, very therapeutic, because you can get into the groove of it, and you can just, you know, especially like if I'm making one for somebody, like one of my grandbabies or whatnot, you know, then I can like, you know, say prayers while I'm, you know, making them. And just there's so much about blankets that are just incredible. So
I agree. I'm in the middle of making a Linus blanket for the hospital, and I got to pick out all of the bright, fun colors that I wouldn't
yeah,
normally put in my own house. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I definitely love being able to make something intended for somebody else and put those thoughts and prayers and well wishes into it.
yeah, yeah.
So you took the course
Mhm.
last year, right? Okay, so
Yes.
what made you decide to start tech editing?
Well, because I was needing to have a more sustainable income,
Mhm.
and because I'm a pattern nerd, like I thought, you know, I had heard like, okay, tech editor, and with my, you know, previous patterns being tech edited, and I'm like, you know, I really could do this, like, you know, and then I was just thinking like, man, that would a lot of crochet designers that are newer have no idea really what a tech editor is.
Very true.
And so I was like, you know, this is really a need, and I really love to educate. And so like my mission, you can see that on my website, is, you know, I want to empower designers through education and mentorship. And so that's what I do through my tech editing services. Is I don't just say, hey, this needs to change, that needs to change. I really educate the designers why these things, why I'm saying these types of edits, and, you know, these are the standards. And then, you know, sometimes they don't even know their style. Like there was one designer who, she was so close to writing, um, I'm sorry, writing like shorthand crochet, like even shorter shorthand crochet. And so I kind of put that out there like, hey, you know, your style, you're like right on the edge of really going that way, you know. And she adopted it, and now her patterns are like incredible, like it's just really awesome. And so, yeah, that's kind of, you know, I I have a heart, a teacher's heart. I love to teach. I was in the education system for, you know, 12 years. I have 4 children, all adult children, and I just love to teach. And so, being a tech editor also helps me to tap into that part of my passion. So
Yeah, it definitely sounds like you enjoy tech editing and
I
teaching
do. I
crochet
do.
designers about tech editing. Yeah, that's an area I think that we need to do more work in, is educating. This is what a tech editor does. This is what a
Mhm.
tester does, and you can't expect one to do the job of the other, but they're
Right.
both valuable. They're both
Yes.
And
definitely valuable.
here's what I found with tech editing is a lot of times designers are stuck in their way of doing things, but a tech editor sees all kinds of patterns. Like you were
Yeah.
able to know, oh hey, this is leaning into shorthand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the designer didn't know that she was leaning that way. So this is the
Right.
beauty of being able to collaborate with a tech editor, where you can bring in all your experience from all seeing all kinds of patterns and all kinds of styles,
Yeah.
and say, hey, you could do it this way, and this is also another option, and this is kind of what's become standard. And it just
Mhm.
such a uplifting aspect of what we do for designers. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we got your back. We're going to help you out.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I love just that, you know, like working, I don't know, I have such a passion to help people, you know, like lifting them up. And I know a lot of designers, like they're really wanting to make this a sustainable income, you know. And what I the very first thing that I teach designers is, in order to sell patterns, you have to be consistent throughout your patterns. Like that, building trust with your audience is being consistent in your pattern. So when you get it tech edited, every single pattern, whether you think you know need it or not, or whether it's a small pattern or a short pattern or whatnot, getting it tech edited, you'll be able to be consistent throughout all your patterns. You build that trust with your audience, and you're going to get return customers, which means you get increased sales. So giving them that understanding right up front, like, hey, look, there's, it's an investment that you have to be willing to make.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that.
Yeah.
So was it hard to get started in the tech editing world? That's a question we get a lot.
Right. So the one thing that I love about the Tech Editor Hub, and I'm not saying this because I'm here, but it really is true. I've gotten so many jobs through you guys putting out the emails to the tech editors saying, hey, this job opening is available. Every crochet one I apply for, and I would say probably from the time that I started getting those emails, I've had probably 10 or 15 job opportunities, that they chose me from the applications. Yeah. And I actually got a ghostwriting. I also do ghostwriting for designers. So I write people's patterns and they get full credit, but I'm the one that write the pattern. And I also got, ghostwriting jobs through. Yeah. So if anyone's scared of, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to get clients, you will. You will.
So it doesn't sound like you had to go looking for clients. Like I had to, because that wasn't an option back when I first started. So you don't have to go searching for clients. They come to you.
Yeah. I mean, I still, like, if I see people, some of the people that we're following each other on Instagram or whatnot, my crochet community, I have no problem saying, hey, do you need a tech editor for that? I've gotten clients from doing that as well. Or, a couple of my clients, one client in particular, she was debating about writing up a pattern. I encouraged her to do it. I was the one that she came to for tech editing, and now she's a return client. So yeah, I mean, I think it's, as people become more aware of the need for tech editors, it's not so scarce of, a time trying to find clients.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I did not put my name in with Sarah's database simply because I can't take on any more clients. But Sarah, it's graduates of the tech editor courses that go into your database, correct?
Yeah, so this is a new function on the Tech Editor Hub that we've instituted in the last year. If you complete one of our tech editing courses, you get to add your name to our editor list. And then whenever we get an inquiry on our website, somebody looking for a tech editor, we send out an email blast and people can apply for the tech editing position with the designer themselves. So it's a way that we like to build up the tech editors and help them get work. And I'm so happy to hear it's working for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very, very thankful. Like, there was a few that, I applied for quite a few, and every single one that came through, I, applied for. Some I got, some I didn't. And that's just part of the game. And, the ones that you do get, do that job. So like it's your only client, especially for those that are just starting out. Even if you have 2 or 3, edit them like that's your only client, and invest everything of yourself into that, and it shows in your work. So
that's excellent advice. Hey, thank you everyone for joining us live. I just want to remind you, if you have questions for any of us, throw them in the chat wherever you're reaching from, and we'll do our best to answer.
So Cherie, what has been the most surprising aspect of tech editing?
I think just after I became a tech editor, I started having this community of other tech editors, whether they're knit or crochet, and just that support, from one another, and being able to ask questions. Because sometimes when we go to tech edit a pattern, I mean, we don't have all the answers, and sometimes we have to go and like, okay, wait, I don't understand this. And so I can go into like the tech editor Facebook group and, hey guys, so this is something that I'm kind of struggling with. And then I get that support, I get the answers. Sometimes they reach out personally. Sometimes I've had phone calls, conversations, and, the support and being able to get help and understanding if I don't, understand something that I'm dealing with in a pattern. So that support, and the community is actually, there's quite a bit of us in the community. We just have to be vocal about it, so.
it's definitely a different experience than what you typically find in a lot of normal 9 to 5 jobs where
Yes.
there's a lot of competition. I feel like this is a community that supports each other and
Yeah.
wants to see each other succeed rather than
Yeah.
competing and, all of that.
Yeah.
Even more, like, we don't have to do it all and be it all. So
No.
like,
Exactly.
if we like really stuck on something, we can say, hey, can you guys help me out? Where can I go find a reference for this? How can I
Yes.
wrap my head around this? Am I doing this right? And
Yeah.
it's so in reality, we've got how many tech editors in our back pocket? It's awesome.
Yeah, it's lovely,
Yeah.
especially when you
Yeah.
get stuck and you're just not 100% sure.
Yeah.
So-
And you're always learning. Like, this is not just hey, I'm going to take the tech editor course and then I'll know everything. There's
no.
always learning. Almost every pattern, I learn something new, or I learn maybe a different way that it could be done, whatever it might be that I'm like, oh no, this is the way that I've always been used to, seeing it or having it done. And then I'm like, it really could be done this way. So
I agree with that, definitely. So, Cherie, I've been enjoying watching your social media posts on Instagram and your blog. So,
yeah.
how do you create such great blog posts and social media posts? Where do you come up with your ideas for all of these topics?
So the one thing, I took literally 2 weeks off at the end of December because, when I first started my crochet business, I just felt like I was all over the place. My social media stuff was all over the place. I had no idea what I was doing. Everyone was like, you need to find your niche. And I'm like, my niche is people. Like, that's what my niche is, like, above anything else, it's really serving and helping other people. But I didn't know until now. I really feel like, okay, this is my purpose. And so this past year, I did like a big search about how to design certain things. And there's really not a lot of information, specific information for crochet designers. There's a lot of information for knit designers, but for crochet designers, there is not a lot of information about how to design certain items, And so I thought, I could create literally 2 to 3 years worth of content for my blog just on how to design. And so I started doing that. And I started just kind of with the basic, here's the basics of learning how to, become a crochet designer. There's a lot of people who follow me who are completely new to designing crochet and they want to learn. And so they've been loving, reading my blog posts and stuff. So this entire year is going to be dedicated strictly to how to design this or that, this or that. And so and I'm going to walk through all the maths that they need to, to come up with and why gauge is so important when you're designing, and I actually just put a post out the other day that, like how to create a gauge swatch and why it's so important for a designer. It gives you so much information, with your design, and it gives you all the numbers you need to get started. Like, if you have this little tiny, 5 to 6 inch gauge swatch, it's going to tell you everything you need. So, yeah, that's kind of where my content comes from, is just I saw this need, that we needed to have this information. And of course, it goes along with my, the educational side of me, that I love to educate people. And so all of my, social media posts and whatnot is kind of a reflection of my blog content. So.
Okay. Yeah, I love that you have this really narrow focus on how to help crochet designers get started this year. Love that. And I'm sure they're going to find it really helpful as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Orchard House is in the house, and she says, I will gladly share all that information. The crochet community needs it. So I think there's definitely consensus that
Yeah.
we all need help, but this
Mhm.
is how we lift each other up, is we share, we educate, and it's like it becomes exponential, like when we
Yes.
build on each other's knowledge and help each
Yeah.
other out. So it's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And there is such a need for it. I think for every 10 knitting books, you'll find one crochet.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
designing or grading for crochet or that sort of thing, like a more of a professional kind of book.
Yeah.
Lots of
Yeah.
pattern books, but there's very few designer resources out there.
Yeah, there really is. And that was kind of part of my search, because I was like, you know, how I know the concept of designing this thing or that thing, like blankets are my jam, you know, and
Mhm.
I can probably design just about any blanket because I've made just about any blanket, you know, 15 years of blanket making. And I'm gonna have to take a shower now after her incessant, like just Triscuits everywhere. Um, and now she's got a banana chip and she's on her playground. But you know, there was just I was like, there's such a lack of knowledge, and I know that people are wanting to design. Let's help them design, you know. So
I love it. Absolutely love it. So what are your future dreams for Sweetbird Crochet?
gosh, I think my biggest dream is that I would love to be able to make enough of a sustainable income that my husband can retire early, and that
Oh,
we could, yeah, that we could travel and do things. So that's kind of my goal, and I've been working towards it. And you know, I look at like my income stream last year just to these past few months, and I'm like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I know that I can do it. And so I just keep pressing on and pressing through. And you know, and I'd like to this is something that I've been working on behind the scenes and nobody knows, so this is kind of like, you know, exclusive content right here. But I'm actually creating a pattern writing course, and I'm going to be teaching you know, teaching people how to write a really, really good pattern, because I'm, like I said, I am a pattern nerd. And
mhm.
so, you know, um, a lot of people have been asking, you know, like, oh, how do I write this or how, and I'm like, we need the course. And so
Yes.
that's in the future. Probably next quarter sometime, I'm going to like launch kind of a you know, like a beta course, and
Mhm.
then launch the full course. So
How
yeah, I've got
exciting.
some things that I'd like to do, and you know, it's exciting. It's exciting, and I love to teach people. So that'll be right up my alley.
Yeah, I have a lot of clients that ask me for pattern templates. Like,
Yeah.
what do I need to put in this pattern? How do I make sure I include it all? So that's going to be excellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have to
I'm actually
for that.
my blog post for if I could get it done, I'm working on some finishing details. I may not get it done today, and I'll post it either Friday or Saturday, but
Mhm.
I'll also have some templates, some Word templates.
Nice.
And for anybody, any designers listening, write your patterns in a Word document.
Yes. Yes, please. I get a lot of PowerPoint, and while they're able to be tech edited and adjusted as needed, uh, to edit straight to a PowerPoint as needed can be a little tricky because of the
Yeah,
wonkiness, you know.
yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, I tell people, you know, like a lot of designers, new designers are like, how, you know, I don't know how, like, what if someone steals my pattern or whatnot, you know, or modifies it? Well, you can't avoid that. Sorry. It's just, you know, you just do you and don't focus on what other people are doing. That's one thing.
yeah,
But the other thing is, if there's ever a dispute, you can always, doing a Word document, you have a timestamp. A lot of the designers that I've worked with, some of them will just write it in Canva. And I'm like, no, 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 you know, write it in a Word document, because Canva is a designing template and it doesn't timestamp your stuff. So anytime you open it, that's when it's time stamped from the time you open it. So if you open your document yesterday, but you wrote it 6 months ago and someone steals your pattern, if there's ever a dispute, you can't, you know, say, hey, see, look, I designed it in Canva 6 months ago. It doesn't show that, you know? So yeah.
You're making a blog post on this?
I've wrote
Say.
about 10 tools that designers need, and I've wrote about like the WordPress and everything. I did that on Tuesday, but the word template and the word template for writing the pattern and the template in Canva to design a pattern, because they're two different things, will be in my blog post that's coming out tomorrow or Saturday.
Very nice. Very nice. I will have to send people your way when they ask me about that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Awesome. So any advice for crocheters thinking about becoming a crochet tech editor too?
Do it. Do it.
Right.
You will not regret it. There's, you know, it's such a great community and you have a lot of fun, and it's a learning process. And the thing, like a lot of people, and I was that person too, like, I'm not really good at it. And like, I don't really know what I'm doing. You take the course and start small. You know, if you have to focus on maybe, you know, maybe you're really good at making blankets, start just tech editing blankets and then grow from there. Like for me right now, I don't tech edit garments because I'm not good with garments. I'm not a garment maker. I've made stuff, but it's not my jam, and that's okay. Let the people that are really good at it do that. Stick to what you're good at, you know? So, and just do it. It's a lot of fun, and you learn and you grow, and, you know, you get better. Like I even go back to some of the patterns that I've tech edited when I first started, and I'm like, man, I really kind of missed some stuff, you know? And you know, like, or I really could have done this or that better. And, you know, and it just is. So, and there's no shame in that. And you grow as a person, just like you grow as a designer. Your very first design, you know, my very first design, I mean, I retired it. I was like, that is the ugliest thing ever. And, you know, so I just retired it. I'm like, sorry, this is ugly. No.
Goodness, somebody else must have loved it.
Nobody bought it, but that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Well, that's excellent advice, though. It's definitely true that even for me, from where I started, you know, all those years ago with editing to now, I would have never thought here I am hosting a course
Right.
on crochet tech editing, you know, interviewing other people, never in a million
Right.
years.
Right.
But here we are growing.
Yes.
I have a question for you, Cherie. So a lot of times I hear objections. Oh, I don't know enough. Like you've already kind of addressed that. But like, oh, I'm too old, or I don't understand the technology, or I'm too young, or so what would you say? Like, how do people know they should be a crochet tech editor? Like, what would you think? Like, aside from all those things, like, how would you address that?
Right. I think the biggest thing is, and this is kind of like, you know, this is just advice from Cherie. If you can't stand errors in a pattern, when you buy a pattern and you're like, this is the worst pattern I've ever bought. If you're that person, sign up to be and make those patterns right, you know? And I mean, I have friends. I also teach crochet classes to, you know, teach people how to crochet. And there's this lady who she's, you know, 4 months, she's been crocheting for 4 months. She brings me patterns. She's like, I don't understand this. I'm like, yeah, because it wasn't tech edited. Like I can just tell, you know, there's so many inconsistencies. And so I'll kind of correct some stuff and everything, and then she makes the pattern. But yeah, if you cannot stand a pattern, that if it bothers you, you definitely need to sign up. You know, if you are a perfectionist, if you pay attention to detail. You know, if you're just that person, if you say things like, oh, I'm a really like anal person, like I've got, you know, very particular, sign up, you know.
Yeah, I've always said that, like, well, you're so critical and you always want to make things better. And I'm like, yeah, but in my job, that's the strength.
Yes.
You know, we have to like tamp it down. It's a weakness for
Yeah.
we don't want to be critical of people, but
Right.
in tech editing, that's a strength.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. It really is. I've had like anytime that I tech edit for a new designer or a designer who comes to me who's a new client of mine, I'll send them a follow-up question after, you know, the pattern has been released. And I was kind of scared like to get a review. And I said, I really want you to be honest in your review. And there has been so many times that I've almost cried because their words were so sweet and like they were so encouraging, talking about how my attention to detail, how, you know, the criticalness that I had for their pattern only made it that much better. And so it was so neat. So if you're a tech editor and you know, have clients, ask them for reviews. And, you know, it really does encourage my heart. And so, and you're able to use it on your website too, because you get permission and, you know, then other people are able to read what other designers are saying about your work.
That's a great suggestion. Absolutely great suggestion.
And that helps build your business, right?
Yeah.
Like if you make a habit of it after every job to ask for feedback, it helps you improve. Because then, like, I've gotten feedback where it's like, Sarah, if you'd done this a little bit differently, then that would have helped me better. So then we can improve our editing, but we also get generous feedback from clients if we've done our very best. So
Excellent. Thank you so much, Cherie, for coming on and talking with us.
Yes,
and for introducing us to your actually sweet bird. That's
so sweet.
That's what every morning I wake her up and I'll uncover her cage and I'll say, good morning, sweet bird. And she'll usually kind of do a lovey-dovey thing and then she bites me waiting for her chop. So
thank you for being here, both of you, Melissa and Cherie. It is such a treat to get to talk to you about the nerdy thing we love, pattern editing.
Yes.
Thank you everyone else for joining us live. If you have questions if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to also just ask in the chat, and we'll answer them as we can. So, Melissa, do you want to make a little announcement?
Okay, so we have opened the course for anybody that is interested, and registration is open until tomorrow evening. Sarah Walworth handles all of the opening and closing of registration. So, Sarah, remind us what time doors close tomorrow.
I'm going to close them at I'm going to close it at 6 p.m. Central, just because it's Friday night, and usually we don't get any sales after Friday night. So,
well, yeah, people are busy doing Friday night things. But if you're interested in joining the course this round and being part of this group of students, jump over to the Tech Editor Hub website and go to the Learn to Tech Edit Crochet course and check it out and see if it's right for you.
Yes, and do ask us questions if you have them, because we're here for you.
Please, any questions you would have about the course or tech editing, or you know what it's really like to be a tech editor, please don't hesitate. Just drop them in the comment section wherever you're at.
Yeah. Have a wonderful weekend, both of you. Thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you around.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.